I'd like to thank M2M Wire for giving us this opportunity to share our views with the market players and regulatory bodies. I would focus on M2M and then what it takes for us to succeed M2M in India. Right. To start with, Tata Tele Services, as you all know, is a telecom provider. We have pan-India presence, and we have been operating in both GSM as well as CDMA areas. We are providing wireless as well as wired connectivity pan-India, and we are a growing telecom company in this country. To start with, then, we have discussed M2M in the last 2 days, and we have been discussing what are the different components of M2M. What I would like to focus on is M2M is not just technology. It's not just putting in the technical pieces in place. It's more than that. Basically, what we understand as M2M is enabling an end-to-end process. Or what I would say, M2M is basically how you can reduce or eliminate the human intervention into a process. So that is what makes the M2M a complete process or piece, right? If I had put in 3 technical components, but still there is a manual intervention, then or if I cannot do a business re-engineering to fit in the M2M in the whole value chain, then it doesn't make sense, right? So the whole objective of talking about M2M or putting in technology in different sectors is automating things and reducing human intervention so that we get more accuracy, more reliability in the system, right? So M2M is basically, apart from putting in technical pieces, it's business process automation. It is about how you are connecting different systems. Then once you have connected different systems, you must be collecting tons of data, what to do with that data, how to create intelligence from the data you have been accumulating. So doing a real-time analytics with that data would make sense, right? So very soon what we will see is, like in the last few years, we have seen that mobile has become part of our life, right? Nobody moves out of his home or of his office premises without carrying a phone in his hand, right? Other people carrying multiple phones with them in today's world, more than one. Similarly, we will see very soon that M2M becomes part of our life. We will experience M2M in our day-to-day life. I will talk of different components of M2M quickly, so which we have already seen over the last 2 days. First is assets. These are basically your sensors or end machines, which will sense the field conditions, right? Then there would be connectivity piece. That means whatever data you have captured through the sensors, how you would communicate it to the data center or to the platform, right? You would need modems, or you may need gateways. That is basically collecting data from multiple sensors, because you may have multiple sensors in the field at the same location. How you will aggregate data, how you will collate data, what kind of rules you need to put in at the edge, and what you can do at the data center. That we need to define, right? And then there is an enablement layer, application enablement layer. That is a layer which will capture all these data from the field, as well as which will manage the devices which we are deploying in the field. So it's not only capturing the data, it's a two-way communication, wherein we are collecting the data, we are also sending commands to the sensors or to the machines which are there out in the field, right? What happens if something goes wrong with the machine or with the sensor? You should be able to control it, to reprogram it remotely, right? It should not happen that something goes wrong in the field and somebody is then rushing towards that in the field to rectify it, right? So this platform basically gives you a capability to manage devices, to create different configurations, to enable multiple applications for multiple sectors, right? And then this application will then support applications for multiple business scenarios, right? So be it application to enable something in transportation system, something in education system. So then this layer will enable vendors or partners to come up with new and innovative applications. Now we have seen that there are applications, or in one way or another, M2M is already getting implemented in the pockets in various areas. Some of the recent use cases or implementations we have seen is in vehicle tracking system, we are seeing it in video surveillance systems. AMR was the start in utilities wherein the government has pushed RAP-DRP, and most of the utilities have implemented AMR on at least ST consumers, and now they are heading towards the smart metering and how to enable end-to-end automation, just not one-way data collection. All right. There is some talks going on with respect to smart homes in the construction segment. Health monitoring, some hospitals are taking initiatives in this space. Smart cities, yesterday one of my colleague on the dais has talked about that government is pushing in smart cities almost in 20 cities across India. POS solutions we have seen whenever we visit, say any mall or even in the buses or at many point of sales, we see that now the data is collected through POS devices and it is directly being transmitted to the different systems. Digital signages you will see right now in different airports. You can have a visibility of this. When I say it is getting, all these are in their early stages. So this is picking up in India, and that's where we need to identify what it will take for us to scale it up so that we can take this to a higher level. Now, when I'm saying all these applications are getting implemented in our country, what are the drivers which are driving these implementations, right? So if I look at it, I see there are these drivers can be classified into 4 components. First one is your regulatory mandate, and this is the biggest push our country gets, or the government can support us in this journey. So we have seen that initially government started with RAP-DRP in utilities. Now they are pushing in smart metering. 14 pilots has been approved by Ministry of Power, right? And that all is creating a wave in the country, in the business segment, and as well as in the utilities to implement M2M, right? Similarly, city surveillance kind of projects which government is taking up. Any policy or standards government defines creates a conducive environment for M2M to take place in the country. Second is, what I see is operational efficiencies. Businesses or industries are looking out to how they can improve on their margins. And it's not always increasing the price of the product. There are many ways how you can operate your current processes, how you can optimize your current processes, and if you can optimize your efficiencies, operational efficiencies, then only you would be able to succeed in the market. So businesses are looking towards how they can reduce their operational cost, how they can increase production. There are very much focus on safety aspect of the business, right? So this is the second driver which is driving M2M in India, right? Third one is the enhancement in the technology. That means the concept was there earlier, but the cost was a main hindrance in the implementation of the M2M. Now with the advancement in technology, we see that M2M is getting implemented in real life scenarios, right? So there were, in the last few years, there is a very advanced developments in sensing technologies. We are seeing 3G and 4G coming up in the country, right? So this tells us that the communication technology in the country is moving up the value chain or moving up the ladder. Everybody is talking of cloud platforms. So all these technologies put together is creating a technical solutions which is within the cost budgets or frames of the organizations, and which is actually driving M2M in the country. And the last one is consumer demand. With the consumer getting educated, and when we see India heading towards one of the youngest country in the world, the awareness about these technologies, awareness about how we can improve the day-to-day activities in our daily life is actually creating a demand in the market for M2M. So what I see is M2M is not only a luxury. It's not only about that I will automate everything and I will not work. It is basically about, it's a necessity for India, because we have our challenges with respect to infrastructure, we have our challenges with respect to skilled manpower, and technology or M2M can enable us to overcome those challenges. It can provide solutions to in those sectors. So when we talked of power sector, it's not that since regulatory is mandating it, we have to do it. We have to do it if we want to sustain, right? And that is the case with all other sectors, be it water sector, which is a limited resource across the globe, be it agriculture sector. We being an agriculture country, we know what are the challenges in agriculture, right? People are heading towards urban areas. So rural areas still find challenges in implementing or having those skill sets to enhance themselves on this front. So that are the cases, some of the sectors which I have highlighted here. And I believe if we look outside, we will find many more sectors where M2M can be a reality, right? I will just take one scenario. When we talked of all these sectors, I am just taking one sector here, power sector. Why I say that we have to implement it. It's a necessity for our country, because we have a old infrastructure which is quite old, right? We have to manage it, right? Second, our demands are increasing in power, right? Day by day, our lifestyles are getting changes, and that is demanding more energy, right? Rising prices. The demand is high, the supply is still limited. We have the same generation plants, right? Creating a generation unit over the night is not feasible, right? And that is what is demanding M2M, because the demands are increasing while your generation is not increasing with the same pace. Environmental concerns. Global warming is a major issue in our country, or across the globe rather, right? So we have to handle that. And strain on available resources. So yesterday one of my colleague or my friend on dais was talking about that we have limited reserves or limited fossil fuels available in the country. We import 85% of the petroleum required for our country. How we can manage that? How we will be sustainable in the years to come? So technology will help us sustain, and we cannot afford to have outages in our lives, right? And that is what will drive our M2M in India, right? This is what I just talked about. Our demands are rising. We don't have enough capacity to meet that demand. We cannot build power plants overnight. So what we have to do is, we have to automate so that we don't have to build new power plants. We have to manage the peak demands. So we have to have systems in place which can manage the different requirements at different times. Right? These are few pain areas for different sectors within the value chain of power, which I have highlighted. From generation, it's high generation cost, capacity shortfalls. For transmission and distribution, it's high losses in the system, thefts and frauds, right? And for the end consumer, it is high cost, energy cost, as well as blackouts, right? This is what is our traditional energy sector. It's a static system. It's a one-way system where power flows from generation to transmission to distribution and to end consumer, right? So if we see, it's just one-way communication. There is no real-time connection. Right now, distribution, transmission, or the generation company does not get any feedback from the market what is happening, if there is any variation in the demand, right? So that they can manage that. What it requires in M2M or to make this grid smarter is a dynamic system, where you not only have one-way communication, rather you have two-way communication. So you get the feedbacks from the market, from the field, what's happening in the field, if there is an outage in the field, if there is a demand increase in the field, or if there is a demand decrease in the field, how you can manage that, right? What is happening with the assets there in the field? How you can do a proactive maintenance of those assets, right? So this is what will make grid smarter. And it's not only about putting in intelligent devices. Once you start getting in data from those devices, how you will manage that data? How you will create intelligence out of that data? Those analytics need to be in place. If we start getting data in real time or even in 15-minute intervals, we'll have tons of data. Managing that data and creating intelligence out of that data is a challenge. And enabling those systems will make M2M success in India, or will actually create the end-to-end business process, right? So basically what I have talked of in power sector is, from the current state of utilities, we have to move to a modern utility. That means we have to have new sensors, microprocessors based smart meters, right? We have to do proactive maintenance of the assets in the field rather than reactive maintenance. Instead of manual restoration processes, we need to have automated or self-healing concepts or processes, right? To the end consumer, it could be, instead of the flat pricing, it could be real-time pricing, right? So basically it needs to be a two-way communication rather than one-way communication. Now, what is the current scenario in M2M and what are the challenges to move ahead? So I have talked of that there are M2M implementations in the country, right? But the challenge is these are smaller implementation. To scale it up would be a challenge for us. And to overcome that challenge, we have to create an ecosystem, right? So the typical challenges to scale it up would be, right now we have a fragmented ecosystem. There are separate players who are providing the solutions to the market. Those systems don't talk to each other, right? We have to come up with something wherein systems talk to each other. So to do that, we need to have interoperable solutions. Right now, whatever solutions are available in the market is not interoperable. They are not based on any of the standards, right? Policy. We still don't have a defined policy for M2M. That is what is lacking. And that is what we have also discussed over the last 2 days, right? One of the focus areas is security. We are talking of putting in intelligent devices throughout the country. And all these devices would be intelligent devices, would be connected devices. How we will ensure that there is a security in place, right? From two angles. It could be a national security as well as the security of the whole network, right? And identity management we have talked of yesterday also. How you would identify those devices in the field, right? Way forward. Now, to overcome those challenges, what we have to do is we need to have policy on M2M framework or services. We need to have a defined KYC processes or norms for M2M, like we have for people as on date. We need to have defined standards, because not only on just one parameter, on all parameters, be it security standards, be it communication standards, be it devices certifications, all those things need to be in place, right? Security and privacy. When you will have all these sensors installed everywhere in your house, in your organizations, how you will ensure privacy of your data, and how you will ensure security. Because once you start getting data, you can utilize it for multiple purposes. So what data to be collected, what not to be collected is again a policy which needs to be defined, right? And then manufacturing setup. When we are talking of sensors, when we are talking of gateways, and when we are talking of millions of sensors, we need to have the ecosystem in place. We need to have indigenous manufacturing, so that we can manufacture on our own, which would be cost effective, which would be more reliable and secure devices within our country. And obviously the push from the government, which is already happening in some sectors, but in many sectors we would still be requiring mandates from the government, or some sponsored projects from the government, like in water sector or in waste management. So that is all from my side. What I believe is that basically we have to have a different way of thinking to solve the problems we are having in our current scenarios. Thank you, everyone.